of spirit is that here, Rena's singing around about surrender. The reading's about now. All of you are here surrendering to the now, and that's exactly what we're talking about today. So it's just like, if we ask, how did that happen? What would you say? Exactly. That's the whole point. How are you today?
Wonderful.
Beautiful. Everyone back here, how are you? Good. What are you willing to surrender today?
Fear.
What else? Fear, what else? Judgment, what else?
Future.
Sorry?
Future.
Surrendering the future. What else?
Stress.
I have a question for you. Do any of you know how you're going to do that?
We don't have it.
Exactly. You're so smart. We don't have to. That's the journey of life when we really truly start to realize that the how is not our business. How many have heard me say that before?
Yes.
You guys have heard me say that before. I've literally said at times, like, could you just take that how and stick it right out the door? So I'm going to alter that today. I've decided to alter that a little bit today. Sorry, I didn't tell you guys. You guys are amazing. Sorry, I just suddenly realized that I forgot to tell them that. Because I was sitting here thinking, okay, when I was in church as a little girl, it didn't look like this. I wasn't on my feet listening to all this. I was in the back pew eating candy, thinking, I don't understand what is being said right now. So thank you. So, where was I at? Come on, you guys, be with me. Where was I at? Right there. Oh, no, that's it. Because I said, in the past, I would tell you to stick it right out the door, correct? Yeah. I'm not going to tell you that today. We're going to look at, if you're looking at how in your life, is it going to be intentional or directional? So, when I asked you, how are you? Did that sound like I was giving you direction? No, that's an intentional how. I intentionally care how you are. So I'm leaning into you and saying, how are you? That how is intentional. My intention is to have concern, have love for you, and to ask you a question, and to hear, to be present, to listening where you're at. The how we're going to be looking at today about, if the one I'd still say to kick it out the door, would be the how that's directional. When we have a directional how, we are directing spirit what to do. Now, I just want to ask all of you, those that I said, do you know how you're going to release that today or surrender that? And you all said, well, I'm not sure. We don't have to know, is what Rena said. Do you think that you're knowing your direction to how anything is going to occur is more than God or Spirit would know for you? Exactly. The thing is, when we think our how is from a perspective of this is where I'm headed and this is how I'm getting there, we're operating from a space of directional. We're trying to direct our life. Now, when we do that, what happens is we're telling God what to do. So we're kind of doing this. Okay, I got this. I got it all right. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get that job. Then I'm going to move here. Then I'm going to do this and this and this and this. And right then, God's going, okay. Okay, I'm right here when you need me. Because when we're directing the ship without listening to the Almighty Source, we're working from something that still is limited. We're unlimited beings, and in the present moment, we catch the unlimited nature of Spirit. But if we're operating from, I know exactly what I'm doing, we're still working with limitation. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because we're only able to use what we know thus far. I just want to give you some ideas. If I would have thought years ago, how am I going to do this? How am I going to meet you today? Do you think I could have figured that out? Had no idea. Years ago when I said, yes, this is my calling, this is what I'm aiming, I could not have known how I was going to be here. I would have limited it because I didn't even know who you were yet. I had to be inspired by the grace of Spirit to catch that. Perfect example. These two beautiful women, Tricia and Jessica, did you know how you were going to find the minister that was going to be here? No. Reverend, if they were saying it's going to be Reverend Keith, and in 2 years at this date, we're going to say to him this, and this, and this, they would have been operating from limitation. So their vision was to stand in intention until they caught the direction. Yes. And that's what I want you to catch today.
Yes.
Directional comes from your intention. If you stand in intention long enough, you will catch the direction of the Almighty and be guided on what to do. Is that correct how you two aimed? Yes.
Absolutely.
And then you stand in the celebration on the other side of knowing, oh, the unlimited nature of the universe is working through me. So I must remember not to direct it, but to be the receiver of the direction. You catching that?
Yes.
So when we are standing in our practice, we're receiving the direction instead of pushing it. The second you start pushing it, you forget that you are unified with this presence. This is a really important part. I want to share something with you that happened specifically this week, but happened over the last year. I have this wonderful client. I have so many wonderful clients. I love my clients. I'm so grateful. And this woman came to me less than a year ago. Beautiful woman. She said, yes, you could share this story because it was important. Beautiful soul that came brokenhearted and sad from the journey. And she showed up. She's an educator. She's an amazing teacher. And she was teaching for years and had gone up the level and was really doing brilliant and was in an administrative position, but still in a small school. And Spirit told her, you have to grow. It's time for you to go out into the world and teach other children. So she listened to that. She went out into the world. She quit her job there, went out, and for the last 3 years has gone from school to school, getting a little more worn down and a little more worn down from the journey. And each time she showed up to think, I think this is it. I think this is where I'm supposed to be of service. And each time got a little more challenging, to the point that to the last school that the kids were in an environment that there wasn't any structure to support her, that administration was not supporting her to even bring her gifts. And there was actually kids were allowed to be rude to her in ways that she could not even imagine. And her heart was getting broken. And when she came to me at one point, she said, I don't know that I'm supposed to be doing this anymore. I'm not even effective anymore. And we went back to her original prayer of what was it that she wanted to fulfill. And we went back to intention of, okay, now what do you know now? What do you know in this present moment? That there's still one power, one God that's guiding you. So as you know that, can we set the intention of what you clearly want to still fulfill? So through her tears, through the sadness, she thought, okay, I'm aiming still that I'm not supposed to be at this other job. She said, I'm not supposed to be here, Kim, but what am I supposed to do? Leave it and I don't have another teaching job. And Spirit said, yes. Then she walked in the door and said, I just gave my notice. This was last June. She said, I don't know where I'm going. Who else knows what that feels like? It's a scary feeling, right? And when you're there, you have to live in intention to trust the direction that's coming. Is my correct? So that's what she did. She leaned in and I said, okay, now, let's just stand up and what is your intention now? And she only aimed on the qualities of her intention. She did not say, I'm going to this certain school and this certain person's going to hire me. Are you with me?
Yes.
Her intentions were, and we kept getting clear, that she wanted to be engaged with her students, that she wanted to be appreciated, that she wanted to be with students that absolutely wanted to learn in an environment that was beautiful and healthy. She wanted to create community. These are all qualities. They weren't limited by a certain structure. Are you still with me?
Yes.
So she began interviewing. She'd come back and she'd be in tears again, like, this one wasn't it. It was too far away. Then I won't have time with my family. And she kept listening to Spirit. She came back again. This one didn't take me. And it was almost to the point that she left me, what am I going to do? And each time I said, we must go to prayer. Get back to your intention. Get back to your intention. And every time she did, and she called me, I've got this interview tomorrow that just happened to come out of the blue. And she pulled up to the place. She said to me later, the structure I walked in and thought, oh no, this school's been around for so many years, it looks like it's about to fall down. And she walked inside. They loved her. They honored her. They were hugging her before she left and said, could you please just start immediately? She said yes and still left and came back and said, my yes was there, but there's still like 2 things, Kim. They said that the classes are huge, like 45 kids to a class. And that the structure does not look like it's working well. And I said, and what's your prayer? She was I'd say, yes, I'm going. So 2 weeks ago, she walked in. She took her everything to clean up that room. She buffed out the room. She'd send me videos each day, like the before and the after. I'm like, oh my goodness, I want to be in this classroom. And then all of a sudden, she started on Tuesday. She walked into my room on Friday. And And I was like waiting at the door like, and she walks in with tears coming down her face. And she said, it's the most amazing experience I've ever had. I have 275 kids a day. A day. And she said, and it's amazing. I went, you 275 kids a day? She goes, it's amazing. She was, and guess what? I go, she was, I just found out they're tearing down the school and rebuilding a brand new one next summer. I went, oh, well, that's interesting. That was the only thing that was left on her intention that wasn't fulfilled. I looked at her, I said, do you feel appreciated? She said, appreciated. She said, the administrator's waiting for me outside of my room saying, these kids are loving you. They're running up the stairs going, our favorite class. Everything that was on that list was fulfilled. Did she know how? No, she never had a clue. I looked at her, I said, if a year ago we would have said, you're walking into this school at this time, and before I could finish it, she goes, I would have told you it's never happening. There's no way that is happening. But what happened here is she let go of directing God. She completely surrendered to, I'm willing, I surrender to my soul to be willing to know that here's my intention, that I want to be of service. I would like to be engaged with people. And everything came to her because she trusted, kept walking in faith, even when it was dark, even when tears were falling down her face. Who else has been there?
Yes.
And who else is a teacher in this room besides Wonderful Rena? Anyone else? Please, teachers, could you please stand up? Anyone? The administration, anyone in education? May we just say thank you. It's the most important job right there with parenting. Because you are with our children of the world each day, imprinting them with your consciousness. You're going to love this. So when she was in my class, in my office, not my classroom, I said something about, wouldn't that be great if you were starting the week with something like the 4 agreements? And she looked at me, she goes, oh, that's a great idea. She came back and she goes, so I got 275 kids knowing the 4 agreements. And we don't have rules in our class. She goes, we have the 4 agreements. And she looks at them and says, so who's going to be impeccable with their word, not take anything personal? Don't make assumptions and always do your best. And they all went, I'm in. Is that brilliant? Those 275 kids are going to go home and be talking about not taking anything personal. Imagine if all of us, when we were 14 and 15, we're learning how to not take anything personal. Woo! It's good. But when we surrender to trying to direct the universal presence, the unlimited nature of the universe, and we think we should direct it what to do, it's humorous. When we let go and go, wait a second, I'm working with an unlimited, powerful power that I need not direct it. I must stay in intention till I catch the direction. That's the difference. So instead of your how being directional, it's intentional. You stand in intention until you catch the direction, and then you move with your how. This is why in affirmative prayer, our steps in affirmative prayer are based on a let go at the end, because we're not saying, I'm going to tell you how this prayer is going to happen. It's going to go this way and that way. On Tuesday, it'll all show up on my doorstep. We don't say that. We're trained and taught to know that our prayers are we let go. We let go because the let go is the place where transformation occurs, where Spirit comes in and brings to us more than we ever could have seen with our outer eye. She did not know what she knows now. Imagine today what each and every one of us don't know the how, but if you could just stay riveted to, in alignment with, what is it I'm calling forth right now? That's what I want you to know right now. Just take a minute and think. What is it you're calling forth right now? Whether it's love, whether it's financial prosperity, whether it's health, whether it's relationship. Just think about it for just a second. Hold it right there in your heart. Just hold it right there. And repeat after me. I'm willing to accept the divine guidance that flows through me from the unlimited nature of spirit. And I accept this and so much more. And so it is. That's your job. To keep accepting what you desire from your passion, from your vision, from your sense of being pulled by something instead of pushed. The second you start to push spirit, remember, lean back. Like we have these wonderful little signs to show us. If I'm leaning in, I got to go, okay, wait a second. I can lean into spirit, but surrender, or I just surrender and lean back to it. But it's not a push to direct it. It's a catch of direction. Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
I want you to change your how, your H-O-W to this. H is for honoring, O is for overflowing, and W is for wisdom. Change your how to honoring, overflowing wisdom as it flows through you. There's more than enough guidance, wisdom, solutions, opportunities than we can even begin to think of. We can't even grasp it with our own minds at times until we sit in those sweet spaces. How many of you are in meditation this morning? In those spaces, did you catch? Like if you catch the unlimited nature is right there. And you go, and it's right here as we're together as well. But the more you can continue to create space to honor the overflowing, overwhelming, whichever word you choose, wisdom of spirit through you, that everything else will seem like it's just small stuff. There is no mountain too difficult. There is no challenge too difficult. There is no health issue too difficult that we can't pray ourselves through it. That we get to stay in solid prayer, intention, honoring our practice so that we don't forget that this power is love. And it wants to move through us in miraculous ways of love that are so profound and deep that we can't even at times grasp it until we just sit and get still. It's like potent. It's absolutely our lives. And it resides within each and every one of you. And that's the beautiful thing. You don't have to go searching anywhere for it. It's right here. You don't have to go anywhere. I do have the blessing today to officiate our sweet Caroline's wedding. And it brings up this essence of love that we don't have to go anywhere, that those two beautiful individuals didn't know how they were going to find each other. You didn't know how you were going to find the person sitting next to you, most likely. That you get to let go of every element of how am I going to do this. The second you say that, I want you to take a breath and realize it's not my job. It's not my job. My job is to catch that beautiful how that Spirit has in my life and surrender so fully that there's nothing I have to do anymore because my being is lifting it, so it just seems like it's already done because I'm just following the footsteps. Yes?
Yes.
Who's in for that? Yes. Beautiful. So from this moment onward, your how gets to be the honoring, overwhelming, overflowing wisdom, correct?
Yes.
From this moment forward, you get to not have to direct spirit, correct?
Yes.
You get to stand in your intention and allow the direction to come through you just from pure inspiration to know that it's done. We're standing in proxy for each other, that it is done. Everything that you accepted today is done in the mind of Spirit, and we get to just celebrate. And please don't forget that part. When she did walk in this week and she started saying, oh, now I want to start working on this other issue. And I told her, you just sit down, because we're going to stay in celebration for a little bit while here, because we were praying for this, and we're standing on answered prayer. Very often we forget that part. Celebrate.
Yes.
It occurs, and then we get to stand and go, I prayed for this. This is the overwhelming nature of the universe. It just easily brought me what I desired, and I didn't even have to tell it how. Stay in the celebration of your soul. This is why I asked you to write gratitudes and acknowledgments, so you could constantly be on the edge of, ooh, I just got the beauty of that because I'm present to seeing what I prayed for just showed up. That's your life. It's showing up every second. I want you to be so interested and ready for it to show up that you just prepare the landing spot for it to gently land and you to just say, thank you. I'm worthy of this because you are. You have a body, you're worthy of this or you wouldn't be here. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Can we pray?
Yes.
Everyone take a breath. I want you to hold that sense within you, what I asked you a while ago for what it is you're willing to accept right now. I want you to hold it in your heart, please. How good it is to know, without a shadow of a doubt, that the one power, one presence is right here, right now. How good it is to know that the divine presence is so unlimited by its very nature. There's so much. There's always an overflow. There's always an abundance. That we see it everywhere. The depth of the ocean. The beautiful earth we live upon. That there's always more love, more God, more Spirit showing up as our very beingness. So how sweet it is on this day to just surrender to it, to surrender again and again and again to the unlimited nature as our very lives, that I accept and know for every individual here and those beyond, that prayers are being answered in this moment. That we are not directing God of how to do our prayers. We are absolutely standing in intention to receive the direction and move our feet in a holy manner that brings forth more joy, more peace, more love than we've ever imagined. I bless the arrival of all of it as it just lands so beautifully on the souls of each of these beings here. I bless our let go, and I bless the abundance of life, of joy that is flowing through us now. I bless this beautiful soul center, for I know that it brings us together to know ourselves more fully. How grateful I am for this sacred space. I bless Reverend Keith always. I'm grateful for his consciousness, grateful for all the love that is here. I know that it not only blesses our lives, but everyone that we touch. Thank you, Soul Center. Thank you, Life. Thank you, Spirit. I let go, for I need not know how that these prayers come into full overflowing manifestation. I just accept it for everyone here. It is done. These prayers and all the prayers they have ever uttered is done. Now and forevermore, I simply let go and say, and so it is.
So it is.
Amen. Amen. Oh, how grateful I am to all of you. I'm supposed to welcome up our ushers, please. Remember it. It's on my mind that I remember this. Just want to bless this sacred time. This sacred time is just as we're activating the law of circulation, that our tithes are our gifts. That we simply are circulating through life. That the more we give, the more we receive. That there's just this continual flow of love and abundance everywhere. Bless each and every one of us as we bless Soul Center. And I'm grateful for it. So it is. And so it is. There we go.